welcome back to the SoCassie channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my 1 month postpartum since my C-section and since having the baby. I can't believe it's actually been 1 month. It's been a little over 4 weeks. That is my baby right now in the background. I feel like a person again a little bit right now. That's why I'm a little bit excited to film this and talk about it. And I'm really excited to update you guys just on how my month has been and how I'm doing now post C-section, which is abdominal surgery, guys. I am 1 month post actual surgery where they cut me open and pulled my baby out of me, which is crazy. Anyways, so let's just go to get started. I have a lot to talk about. Let's do this. So I first want to talk about just how like my C-section incision is doing. I feel like it's healing so well now. I feel like for a while I was like, ooh, I feel like it looks weird or looks funny, and then I learned that it was the glue over it, and I peeled off the glue the other day and my incision looks amazing. I don't think I'm gonna have any problems when I go to my 6-week postpartum. I think they're gonna say my incision looks good. It seems to be healed and closed mostly. I'm sure it's still healing, but it looks really good so far. It still feels really weird to touch. Like when I touch down around the incision, I can still feel like a little bit of pain, a little bit of like tenderness, I think is the right word, a little bit tender. I think it also feels kind of just like weird in general. It almost feels like a little bit numb down there, except also tender. I don't know if that makes sense. Obviously that tells me that I'm obviously not 100% healed. I'm just doing well. I try not to bother it. I still wear like high-waisted underwear and high-waisted pants to go over it, and I still try to shower a lot to keep it clean because I just don't want it to get infected. For a while I thought there was something wrong with it. I was like, oh my god, it's not healing right. How are you supposed to know if it's healing right? But I feel like now that I'm 4 weeks and I peeled off all that glue and I can see the actual like scar now, that I think it looks pretty good for it. At least I think. There's really not a lot that I can go off of other than I think it looks good. 4 weeks postpartum, my emotions have like really started leveling out. I feel like those first few weeks, actually the first week postpartum, I was very emotional. I really struggled. Every day I was like really struggling. I was very upset a lot and I had a lot of like emotions flooding me. But I feel like ever since like the 2nd week, my emotions have really started to level out a little bit, and I feel like I've been doing a lot better. Something that I'm still struggling with is like postpartum like night sweats. It's a little gross to talk about. Not a lot of people I think talk about it, but I can't tell you guys how much I sweat at night right now. It's really bothering me. It bothers because it makes me feel really dirty after in the morning because I just feel like I was sweating all night. Even though our room is nice and chilly, to be honest, we keep our room pretty cold. And I feel like no matter what though, I still wake up sweaty, which is not what I like. I hate being sweaty. I hate smelling weird. But that is something that I'm still struggling with. Not as much though. I'd say it has calmed down a little bit from the first few weeks, but it's still something that I still wake up with, which is a bummer. I really don't like that. I think that's like the one thing I do have that I'm like, oh, that's postpartum night sweats. That's not something that I normally have or something I've ever had before, but now I do. So let's talk about weight. It's not normally something that I touch on, I think, or talk about, but I do kind of want to like, update you guys just on how I'm feeling about my actual body and about how like my weight loss is going. So when I went in to have Jackson, I was 145 pounds, 144 pounds. And right now, when the last time I weighed myself, I was 124 pounds. So I have lost 20 pounds since having Jackson, which I think is pretty cool. My pre-pregnancy my pre-pregnancy weight was actually at like 108, 105 if it was really cool, but more like 108, 110 pounds. So I still have about 15 or so pounds to go before I reach my beginning pre-pregnancy weight, but I feel like being at 124 pounds right now is actually really cool. I feel like though I have not gone down from that weight in like a week or so. So part of me feels like the rest of the weight loss might be up to me and when I get like cleared to exercise and start working out again. But honestly, I don't feel much of a rush. I don't mind my body right now. I feel like what I have is really not that bad, and I just feel like I am recovering from surgery. I have a baby, and honestly, I don't even know once I get cleared for exercise how I'm gonna make time to like work out and exercise, because I just feel like having a baby is so demanding. I don't know when I'll have time to just go out into the, you know, go work out for an hour. But obviously I still want to. I would love to start, like, you know, building muscle again. I feel really deprived of my muscle. For me, the weight that I want to lose is not really like, oh, I want to shed the weight. I'm like, I want to build my muscle back. I have no core muscles anymore. My arm muscles have gone down as well, and I just feel like my thighs too. I just feel like everything about me just feels a little bit looser than it used to be. So for me, I really want to focus on building up my muscle once I get cleared to work out. So hopefully in 2 weeks I get cleared, but I could still see me having a hard time actually like doing that. But other than that, I feel pretty good about my belly. I'll show you guys it right now. I do still have like a really dark midline. So this is what I got going on here. As you can see, I have this dark line that I don't know when that's going to disappear. Part of me thinks it's not going anywhere. I do have like one stretch mark right here. It's really light, and obviously it's just very flabby skin, which, whatever. I just had a baby and I just had surgery. You guys can kind of see my incision right there. It really doesn't look that bad. I still have some glue on it, so that's what that dark line is. But yeah, here's my belly. It's a little flabby, but whatever. I just had a baby. What am I gonna do? Go do planks and core workouts? I mean, come on. That's my child screaming. But like I said, I mostly just want to get clear so I can start like building muscle. We've been going on really nice long walks now. I feel like I'm finally at a place where I can go on really nice walks with Carlos and Jackson, and it doesn't seem to affect me too much. Although we did go on a walk the other day, and it was about the distance we used to do when I was like more early on pregnant, and I can say, guys, the walk was more difficult than I'd like to admit, which lets me know that my body is still recovering, my body is still getting used to those long walks, and it definitely is not like it used to be for me where those type of walks would have been really easy, whereas I did it a few days ago and the walk was pretty hard. By the time we got home, I was like, holy guacamole, I'm exhausted. So one of the biggest things postpartum for me, or maybe it has to do with my breastfeeding journey because I am exclusively breastfeeding Jackson, is that I am very hungry and thirsty. And even though I drink lots of water, I drink lots of like body armor and coconut water, I still am so thirsty throughout the day. I'm so hungry, especially in the middle of the night. And I'm still working on making sure I, you know, get all my calories and that I'm also staying hydrated enough. But let me tell you guys, it is definitely a struggle, and it's definitely new for me. I never was this hungry person before I was pregnant. We didn't even eat all of our meals sometimes back before I was, you know, not pregnant or had a baby. But now it's like if I don't eat, I am absolutely famished, and I can feel it. I become weak and tired, and I feel kind of feel like I'm gonna pass out actually if I don't eat enough. And I constantly feel like I'm not drinking enough, even though I swear I am. But I think that all has to do with just breastfeeding, though. I know it's really taxing on your body, and it's very demanding to keep up with it to, you know, be able to breastfeed your baby. So a lot of that is something new that I'm doing. But also, you know, during my pregnancy, I was really hungry a lot and drinking a lot of water already. So it's not much of a big change for me, other than it's actually a little bit more relaxing for me because I know he's not inside of me anymore. So I know that everything I'm doing is like more like for the milk. But before, when I was pregnant, eating and drinking water was really stressful. I was like, oh my God, I need to do this because I have this baby inside me and I'm growing him. I need to be drinking lots of water and I need to be eating all my meals. But now it's like I'm still eating enough and I'm drinking enough, but I'm not as stressed about it. I'm more just trying to keep up my milk supply for the baby, obviously. Obviously, speaking about breastfeeding, my boobs have definitely taken one of the biggest changes, you know, post-pregnancy, and also, you know, during when I was pregnant. But postpartum, my boobs have taken definitely a very interesting change, especially because in the beginning of our breastfeeding journey, Jackson would only feed on my right boob. For the first week, I could not get him to eat off of my left one. And so now, 4 weeks, it's been 4 weeks, he now eats off both, but my right one is continuously an oversupplier. It continuously is double the size of my other boob sometimes, and I think it all just goes down to how much Jackson fed on this one in the beginning of our breastfeeding, which is crazy. It's crazy that 1 week postpartum, that 1 week has just, I think, dictated the rest of my breastfeeding journey. Because now this other boob here, I don't feel like it supplies as much milk. It definitely never gets like engorged, but this one over here just constantly gets like really engorged. I feel like I have to pump sometimes in order for Jackson to actually be able to feed off of it. It is definitely the overachiever in our breastfeeding. But overall though, I feel like it's starting to regulate a little bit more, but still this one is definitely the oversupplier compared to my other one. I'd love to know if you guys can relate to that. I feel like it totally is based off how the first week went with Jackson. I think because he fed off the right one solely for a week, refused this one, that I think it literally just dictated the entire journey. That this boob now thinks that it has to supply so much because that first week Jackson would only feed off of it, and it took me a week to convince him that this boob was just as good. And now we feed off both no problem, but I still think this one's the better one. But you know what, I'd say overall 1 month postpartum, I'm actually doing pretty well, I think, especially compared to the beginning of the postpartum journey. I feel like I am in a very much like happier mindset. I feel like I have a much positive attitude now. I feel like overall I'm feeling pretty good. I know that I still can't do some things. Like the other day, this is gonna sound bad, I jumped on the counter to get something off of the second shelf, and I definitely regretted that. It didn't really hurt that much, but I definitely was like, okay, Cassie, you can't do everything. I guess I was kind of just testing my own limits to see what I could do, because I feel really good, but obviously I can't do everything. But we're getting close. But I'd say just overall 1 month, I'm feeling so good. I can't wait to get cleared to do like swimming and to be able to start working out. I feel like it'll really help my positive attitude more. I think the biggest thing that I'm struggling with is just learning how to be like someone besides a mom. I feel like that's really hard for a lot of women actually, is just how to be a person and not just a mom. Like a lot of time it's hard for me to get ready for the day because having a baby is just so demanding that, you know, today I couldn't even get moving until noon because Jackson was just, you know, we had a rough morning and he was fussy and I just was constantly feeding him. And so, you know, I feel like with that it's hard for me to, you know, feel like a person and get out of the house and get ready for my day. And filming these videos can be sometimes kind of difficult because it just feels like being a mom is like all I am. And so I'm really working on trying to find myself besides just being a mom. Anyways, guys, I think that's it for my little update today. If you guys want to see Jackson's 1 month update on him, it's going to be up on our other channel tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And I think that's it for today's video. Hope you guys liked. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.